welcome to Day 14 of Labrynth to Lord Stanley. There are 10 teams left, and after tonight, the final 8 in the NHL would be set in stone for tomorrow night's action. And the first game took place at TD Garden in Boston, where the Game 7 between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins took place. Boston scored the first goal, and Toronto got 2 unanswered thanks to Cody Franzen. Third period, Phil Kessel scored, putting Toronto up 3-1. Later in the third period, Phil Kessel passes the puck to Nazem Kadri. Kadri scores, and the Maple Leafs lead 4-1. At that point, you're thinking, game over, the Bruins are going to lose. But David Krejci and Milan Lucic pass the puck to Nate Horton. Toronto still up 4-2, 1:33 left in the third period. Zdeno Chara scores. Maple Leafs now lead 4-3. 31 seconds left in the third period. Patrice Bergeron ties the game at 4. 4-4 overtime. Patrice Bergeron scores and sends the game into overtime. And Bergeron would score again in overtime. And Bergeron scores the goal that sends the game into overtime. Then he scores the game-winning goal. And Boston trailed 4-1 at one point in the third period. They managed to get the comeback. They get the win. And if the Rangers pulled off the upset against the Washington Capitals at the Verizon Center in Washington, D.C., they'd get home ice in the next round. How would that go? First period, Aaron Asham, he scores, puts the Rangers up 1-0. Second period, Taylor Pyatt scores, 2-0 Rangers. Later in the second, Michael Del Zotto, 3-0 Rangers. Rangers would go on to win 5-0. Henrik Lundqvist gets his second consecutive shutout after obtaining critical shutouts in Game 6 and Game 7 now. And the Rangers, they're going to travel to Boston to face the Boston Bruins in the Eastern Conference Semifinals. When the playoffs first started, I said we'd get the Penguins and the Bruins as those top 2 teams. And I'm certain now that that's what's going to happen. Plus, if anybody can knock off the Penguins, it's the Bruins. The way they displayed the adversity, they're trailing 4-1 in the third period. They managed to come back. They get the win in a critical situation. They're the team, as far as I'm concerned, that has the best chance to knock off the Penguins. Even though my 2 favorite teams in the NHL are the Dallas Stars and the New York Rangers being a close second, but the Rangers, I just don't think that this is their year. Penguins and Bruins are just too good on paper. And even though Lundqvist has emerged at the right time, it's not like this team's got a deep penalty-killing unit, but we'll see. Maybe the Rangers will come through. They'll pull off an upset. And the Rangers lost the Eastern Conference Finals to the New Jersey Devils last year, so maybe that's going to motivate them to play harder. Either way, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens in the Eastern Conference Semifinals. You've got Ottawa, a team with the top penalty-killing unit, and maybe even the top goaltender. You've got Pittsburgh and Boston, 2 teams incredibly deep at depth, and then the Eastern Conference runner-up, the New York Rangers last year, as those final 4 teams in the Eastern Conference this year. In the Western Conference, you've got Chicago facing Detroit, 2 division rivals. Chicago should win that series, and then you've got Los Angeles and San Jose. You never know what could happen with Detroit, but it's unlikely that their run's going to continue. They don't have a good penalty-killing unit. They're going to have to rely heavily on the game planning of head coach Mike Babcock. But when you've got a guy like Scotty Bowman or Mike Babcock as your head coach for the Detroit Red Wings, you never know. But I just can't see the Red Wings being that team that knocks off the Chicago Blackhawks. I think Chicago makes it one more round at least, and then they're probably going to have a clear path to the Stanley Cup. But the Kings are the defending Stanley Cup champions, and the San Jose Sharks are the team with the best penalty-killing unit in the West after Chicago. So I think every series in this next round is going to be interesting. But I think the team with the easiest path to the Western Conference or Eastern Conference Finals has to be the Chicago Blackhawks. We'll see, though. For more information about the NHL, check out draftutopia.com. I didn't get a... Wait, I did put an Ottawa-Pittsburgh... We did put an Ottawa versus Pittsburgh series preview up, but that was from one of our other Draft Utopia writers, and tomorrow I'll have a series preview write-up for each of the remaining playoff games, and we'll break that down so that our readers get a good idea of what I think is going to happen in the next round. And coming up later this week, there will be an article about the 2013 Memorial Cup, and there'll be some other good stuff on Draft Utopia. So go ahead, check that out. And you can always check out our site for NBA playoff coverage by Lisa Donovan, and we've got Michael DeFiglia with our NFL content. So our team at Draft Utopia does the best we can. All right. Thanks for watching.